Hi guys, I am so excited to give you a tour of my vegetable garden today because I've got so many new things growing. I feel like you're barely going to recognize it. The possums and the rats have been leaving me alone, so things are thriving. My summer veggies are growing. All those things that I planted from seed that I thought I was going way too early on, they're actually mostly still alive and doing really well. It's November, so we've just hit the last month of spring. Most of my tomatoes are in. I've actually just started a whole lot of new seeds that I will show you in a minute. I'm going to give you a full tour, show you everything that's growing, everything that hasn't worked, everything we're harvesting. At the end of this video, I'm going to take you through what you could be planting right now if you live in Melbourne, Australia, or anywhere with a similar climate. Lucy just had the shortest sleep in the world, so she's going to be joining us. Before I get started, a shout out to Daisy's Garden Supplies who are sponsoring this video. I reckon in the last month I've done 4 or 5 loads to their store, which is not too far away from us, and filled up the back of my car with soil, compost, manures. They've also got awesome mushroom compost. So I'm quite excited that they were keen to sponsor this video because they're an awesome local company and I genuinely think their composts and manures are a heck of a lot better than what you'll get at the hardware stores. So let's go take a look at the garden. Sorry, one last thing. If you're new here, would love you to hit subscribe. I run these garden tours every single month and they're always changing. So love you to join along. I'm going to start up here because I reckon this is what's changed the most recently. So this bed, we've still got our existing carrots, garlic, which I'll pull out in a minute and show you. It's been a bit of a flop, to be honest. Our carrots just have been no good. I actually think that soil has got too much nitrogen in there. I'll show you in a sec. Garlic also, we've had a few little challenges with. But this bed is all brand new. So I've got a zucchini in here, which my plan, I haven't really started to do that, but is to try and grow that vertically. That will obviously get extremely big, so I wasn't planning to put zucchinis in there, but I want to see if I can grow it vertically and minimize the amount of space that it takes up. This is my sorrel I've had before I relocated it because it was still doing well. I've bought a bunch of lavender plants. Thanks, Chloe. In the past, I really haven't focused on flowers too much. This year, I've got a much bigger focus on flowers. 1, because they look gorgeous, but 2, the obvious benefits of attracting pollinators and bees and stuff. And I don't want to be out here hand pollinating my zucchinis like I were last year. So they're already doing a fabulous job. They're basically, they're hopefully going to last for a really long time. So I'll put them in that pot for now. I like a bit of colour in here, but I also want to be able to completely freshen up this bed at the end of the season. So I figured I'll keep it in there for now, let it grow bigger, and then we can work out its permanent position later. So nasturtiums here, I grew those from seed. If there's white cabbage butterflies around, I'll lay their eggs on there and hopefully leave some of my other plants alone. This is one of those black Russian tomatoes that you will have seen in my videos where I was growing everything from seed for the fundraiser. These were actually the seeds of Nonna and Pa, a tomato that they gave us last year that I loved, and I saved them. You can see there's a whole lot of flowers on there already, so I'm quite excited about those. The basil down there. Yeah, this is a bit confused, this space, because I stuck some bean seeds in. They took a while to germinate, so I thought they weren't going to. So then I stuck a tomato plant in, thinking the tomato would climb up this archway. And now they're both growing. So we'll see how that works. I might have to move one of them, but my hope is that this will be an indeterminate tomato and it'll get really tall and I can actually sort of climb it up here. Whether or not that works, we'll see. But again, getting some flowers on there, which is exciting. And this is a beefsteak tomato. So you can already see those flowers are much bigger than the other ones. I've got 2 stakes here, 2 stakes over there, and then a whole lot of stretchy string between them. I'll say this is inspired by Ash. I did a tour of Ash's backyard garden in Geelong recently and he had something similar going on. He did a much better job of it than me, but I thought it might just look like a tidier way of staking tomatoes. I don't really think I've done it right. So who knows whether that will stay like that or not. You don't like to be stationary, this gal. She just wants to be moving all the time, don't you? Moving all the time. So I was showing you my capsicum. Oh, you got it. Somehow that didn't hurt. My capsicum, which basically I saved from last year, cut the whole lot back. I'm not sure how that's going to go, but I've put it in there temporarily just to see if I can revive it. It wasn't looking as healthy as some of the others, but I know that soil is really, really rich, so I've put it in there for now. There are a few new bits and pieces over this side. Down here I've actually got some corn growing. You can see I've covered it up because the first few corn seedlings I planted got eaten by the birds. There's another zucchini down the back there. That's random. I don't know why I put that there. And passion fruit. Now I originally stuck this passion fruit vine in the garden bed, but then I was doing a tour with Brian Hunter from Athol Road Primary. He kindly advised that if passion fruit are grafted rather than non-grafted, their roots tend to take over beds and you can never get rid of them. So I pulled it out very quickly and I've put that in a pot. Again, I feel like this is maybe a temporary solution here, but we'll see how we go. Now, let me talk to you about berries because it's very exciting. Yes, I just did a terrible pun there. Blueberries. I haven't worked out where to put these guys yet. That was my latest impulse purchase. There you go. Definitely an impulse purchase. No plan for the blueberries, but look forward to making one soon. This is my one berry plant from last year that's not producing fruit yet. But these two berry plants are actually doing very well. So you can see I've got another little archway there, which is new. I found that bit of mesh in hard rubbish on the side of the road and connected it to some existing sort of trellisy things that I had. So let's start with this one. Look, 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 look. Actual berries. If you grow berries, that may not be exciting to you, but this is my first time, so I'm really, really, really excited to see those. Now, everyone who grows berries will tell you, I've got to be really careful because Luce likes grabbing things and they are very prickly. Anyone who grows berries will tell you that the birds love them. So I've been researching ways to keep the birds at bay, which is what this is. This is just some little bits of mirror from the kids' craft drawer and some string that I've tied up there. Apparently the reflections can sort of spook them off, so who knows if that'll work. Some more lavender down here, and you can see a bee there doing its job. Every time I look at the lavender, non-stop, always bees there. They're the best bee attractor. And over here, this is a boysenberry plant. Sorry, I've still got Lucy in my arms. This is a boysenberry plant, which is much younger and much smaller, but also I've got actual berries on there. So I'm going to be honest with you, I will be devastated if they ripen up and the birds take my first berries because there's lots of birds around here. So my garlic over here I'm having mixed results with. I've pulled a lot of them out because they started getting what I have learnt is called witch's broom. There you go, you can see that happening there. When they get, is that the witch's broom? I've pulled most of the duds out, but basically they started, rather than forming one big bulb, they started forming multiple little bulbs and got all these spiky green bits coming out, which apparently is relatively common in garlic growing. It is something to do with the weather and there's not much that you can do to prevent it. So that was frustrating, but you can definitely see, like in this one here, that's starting to bulb up. Yeah, that's starting to bulb up quite nicely, that one. Maybe I should even pull that out. Ooh, I don't want to go too early. I'm going to do it. Let's pull that out. Let's see. What do you reckon? I reckon that looks pretty good. Quite pleased with that. I might have gone a bit early. Maybe I'll leave the others a bit longer. So these carrots have been a bit of a disaster. They've been very big and bushy, but the carrots themselves have been CRAP. A number of possible reasons why. It's highly likely the soil, what is it, too much nitrogen or something? Oof, yeah, I'm just going to yank all those out. Carrots are one of those funny things that actually thrive with lower quality soil compared to a lot of the other veggies. See, yeah, really huge leaves, tiny little carrots. My daughter tried them and she said, "Mum, that's gross." And she loves carrots. So these are the rainbow variety. You can see there's definitely the rainbow colours there, but no point growing beautiful rainbow carrots if they taste gross. So I reckon out of all of those, there might be one edible carrot. You win some, you lose some. Yes, bud. And these are just some daisies that were beautiful when I bought them, and now all the petals are coming off. So I don't know if that's a bug in there eating those or what. If you are a daisy expert, talk to me, because that was a lovely thriving daisy plant, and now all the colour is disappearing. Down the back here, I've got potatoes in there. Mum? Yes, sweetheart. Don't. Those are called lavender. Do you want me to show you the raspberries? They're behind you. Turn around slowly because they're prickly. Yeah. Have a look at these. Can I touch these? I wouldn't touch those because they're very, very prickly. You be careful on that edge there, yeah? Now in here, Lisa's making lots of noise. I'll go grab her again in a minute. Over here, this is a bunch of stuff still growing from last season. So cos lettuce, screw that one from seed, coming loose. All right, fennel, beetroot, and we're gonna have to press pause. It's now actually the next day because kids in life, but I'm back, let's keep going. So we're up to here. I was showing you fennel, which I grew from seed, which is doing quite well. I was showing you beetroot, which I transplanted, which is not doing as well. They say beetroot doesn't like to be transplanted, and I'm certainly getting that sense here. What's that one? That one looks a little bit bigger. Oh yeah, nah, they're still not amazing, but those leaves, if nothing else, will taste beautiful stir-fried. So further down the back, I'm using a lot more of this space than I was previously. I think I started showing you these potatoes before I got interrupted. Again, that's just real life. They're tiny pots, and I would never have thought about putting them in pots that small until I saw one of those beautiful social media posts. Someone showing me how many potatoes she grew in a pot this size. So I just stuck some potatoes in there that were from my pantry that were growing little eyes, and hey presto, I can see some flowers growing there which I wasn't expecting, so I should probably Google when to pull those out. I'll do that in the next few days. I'll show you how it goes. Over here, zucchinis. So that's probably space for 2 zucchinis in there, but I had a zucchini plant that was looking really sick and sad. I stuck it in just to see if it would survive, and it's definitely surviving. You'll see it's much tinier than the other ones. I think these are yellow zucchinis. And did I see, yeah, look, so you can see one of those babies coming through there that is yellow. I won't expect any of these to turn into actual fruit just yet, and I should probably actually pull off those flowers to let the plant grow a little bit bigger. So a new garden bed here, ready to plant out. Some more lavender down the back and some new flowers that have gone in. If you watched my video a couple of weeks back about coffee grounds, you'll know that I had a gigantic delivery of used coffee grounds from Reground, who are an awesome social enterprise based here in Melbourne. They basically deliver loads of coffee to whoever wants it for free, and they collect it from cafes to stop it from going into landfill. I did a bunch of tests, and one of them was to see how well the coffee worked as a weed suppressant. Let me just show you. So this is what the weeds are like where I haven't sort of actively gotten in and treated them, and this was all filled with weeds as well. You can sort of see some of them through there. And I'm actually really impressed by how well it has worked as a weed suppressant, because I just haven't had the time or energy to get in and do proper weeding yet. It's on my to-do list, but it was just getting out of control. Here too, this was all coffee grounds and this was all covered in weeds, and you can see the remains of some of them there. It's worked really well as a weed suppressant, which I'm really pleased with. Let's go down the bottom. I mentioned in one of my seedling updates that I was creating an anyone can corner. That was going to be at the back, but I'm still really using that as a workshop. So this is sort of my anyone can space at the moment. And basically I just want to be able to always show people that even if you've only got a balcony, even if you've only got a tiny space and no actual garden, you can grow food. So this is just a recycled pot that we had in the garden from a few years ago. We used to have flowers in there. And this is a capsicum plant, which again, I overwintered that from last year. And if you have a look in here, lots of beautiful buds forming, which is exciting. Tomato, that is absolutely ample size to grow a tomato in. These are Tony's Whoppers, is what we're calling them. Nonna and Pa, their neighbour Tony, grew gigantic tomatoes last year, and so they saved the seeds, and this is where this one came from. So I can't wait to see how big they get, and if they do grow as big as they did for Tony, or if he's just got the magic touch. And over here is a cucumber plant which was all but dead, and I seem to have saved it. It's got a little bit of white on the leaves, which might be some kind of fungal thing. So I'm trying to watch that carefully and take off any leaves that I need to without damaging them. And a couple of mini cucumbers there. I reckon they might almost have been fertilised too, because I've had lots of mini cucumbers on another plant I'll show you in a minute that have died off. They look slightly bigger. So there you go. In terms of space, you should be able to grow a pretty good cucumber vine in a pot that small. You will need it'll sprawl, hopefully eventually, but there's no reason you can't do that on a balcony. Now under here, I think I told you about this a while ago. This was a new impulse purchase from Amazon. It basically just helps you hack the seasons. You can pop it on top of pots as I have there, or over a garden bed if you're wanting to grow something that it's not quite warm enough to grow yet. What did it cost me? Maybe $35 or something. Anyway, there's a link there if you're interested. Under here, zucchinis. Again, zucchinis will grow really big, but there's no reason you can't put a pot there anywhere, wherever you are. And more capsicums here. Again, overwintered from last year. Just starting to get the first sign of flower buds in there. And in this one, I had no luck with strawberries last year. I probably told you I wasn't going to grow strawberries again, but I am giving them another go, mainly because my nephew loves strawberries and I told him I could grow whatever he wanted, and he wanted to grow strawberries. So again, they are just in recycled plastic pots. That'll be fine for now. They'll eventually hopefully spread, and I'll be able to create extra plants out of them. If you've got a sunny spot on a table, you could grow some really nice strawberries just in a pot that size that could almost be a table centerpiece. I have considered doing that here, and I still might. All right, come and check out how my food cubes are going. These are 2 new impulse purchases. I just wanted to make this space look uniform and nice and alleviate some of that pressure of constant watering. So in here I've got beans. I put a few bush beans down the bottom and some climbing beans on the sides. So you can see the climbing beans are starting to climb up there as well. They go all the way up to there. And the first little sign of actual beans growing from those flower buds there, and they're developing all the way up here, which is really cool. I want to just do a quick close-up of a bug here, because I don't think I've ever seen these before, and I have a full-on plague through my garden at the moment. They're everywhere. So since my last tour, I've developed a bit of a netting structure over here over my food cubes, which I've been really pleased with. It's obviously not covering the whole thing at the moment, but I tend to open it up during the day to let the sort of beneficial insects in, and then at night time I just use clothes pegs here and basically secure them like that, and the possums haven't been getting in at all. So I've freshened up my right hand side bed and planted beans, capsicums, nasturtiums, and more beans and capsicums. And the left hand side I haven't upgraded yet for the season because things were growing really well in here, and oh, look at that. What is that? I have no idea. Let me know if you know. So my sugar snap peas finally are doing really well. The trick was just to cover them up. They're delicious. I can never grow enough sugar snap peas. They're so yum. Kids love them. I love them. Coriander down here. Looks like it's starting to go to seed a bit. It's probably almost time to pull that coriander out. I've made a bunch of really yummy coriander pestos recently, so none of it ever has to go to waste. There is Rocket that seeded itself from last year. Got lettuces, got radicchio. See, look at that. That's another one of those weird fly type things. Parsley, more lettuce through the back, and that bed is going great. But I've got some new things I'm keen to plant soon, so once we get through those lettuces, I'll be freshening that up. Now over here I have another tomato plant. This one's growing really well. Look, this is actually the first actual tomatoes I have. Excited. 2, 3, and there's just flowers all over this. So I'm thinking this might be a determinate variety, because I was trying to find the top of it to keep weaving it up, and I actually think it stopped growing taller. I might be going crazy, but I can't find the top of it. Flowers galore. Flowers everywhere. Can't wait to see how this one goes. I'll take you over here. I haven't been putting much TLC into this bed at all recently. And I'm actually probably today going to pull a whole lot of this out and replant it. Some more coriander at the back. That is largely bolting. Lettuces that haven't grown very well because they've been way too crowded. I've got way too much in here. Way too much in here. They're starting to go to seed. I need to harvest actually all of this weed, and a curious plant in there that I haven't pulled out because I just want to see what it is. Yeah, that is something that's grown from my compost, and it looks like something from the pumpkin, melon, zucchini family, so I'm waiting to see how that one grows. It's not zucchini. If you know what it is, let me know. It's quite furry. Leek at the back here again, which I think I'm going to pull out because they're just too slow to grow, and I might actually pop some leek up the back part where I can just leave it. I don't even know what you call that. But there you go, there's a leek that I harvested early. It's tiny, but I just wanted an extra flavour in a soup I was making, and it's just grown back. So they take a really long time to grow, but once you actually get there, they do quite well. And I'm wondering if that might be watercress. I had watercress in this bed literally 12 months ago, and I haven't seen any since. But I think that's actually what that is, which is self-seeded. You can see these lettuces at the back have done terribly because they just haven't had any sunlight. They've been blocked. Oh, that's another thing that's self-seeded, whatever that is. They might be pumpkins maybe. And yeah, that's this bed. I had 2 of these greenhouses set up, and I got rid of one of them, which I was very glad about. It kept blowing over in the wind and most of my seedlings disappeared. But I have stuck some new seeds in because we've got another school fundraiser coming up, much smaller scale. Got some new beans coming through here. They were melon seeds in there, but I can't keep them moist enough, so I just don't think that's going to work. These are supposed to be sort of an environmentally friendly version to grow seeds in, but I just can't seem to keep them damp enough. So I actually don't think they're a great option, particularly when there's so many amazing recyclable options that you can get, or recycled. Basil zinnias. finally starting to look like little... Yeah, look, I don't feel like they're really going to get there, those zinnias. And down here, a whole lot of flowers that my fabulous neighbour has gifted me. I commented on how beautiful his daisies were looking, and he said they grow like weeds. I'll get you some cuttings. And he did. Thank you very much. So I've got some more corn down here, and you'll see I've stuck some of these little mirrors on top too to try and keep the birds away. I haven't seen the birds since I put them there. I think I need to find a tidier option because that just looks a bit messy. And more lettuces and tomatoes in this one. Here are two that will end up in my anyone can corner. Spring onion grows beautifully in a pot. Anyone could do it. And spinach. So easy to just pick a few leaves as you go, whatever you need in your cooking, and wash off those little critters. This is one of my favourite new additions to the garden, these dahlias. I love how beautiful they are. I've been reading up about how to grow dahlias. Apparently they are one of the most sort of sought after plants when it comes to all bugs, creatures and pests. So the slugs love them, the caterpillars love them, all the bugs love them, and you've got to somehow try to keep them alive. So that'll be a nice little challenge. And my lemon tree, new lemon tree is still going well in there. My plant here, is that dill? Let me smell it. Yeah, I'd forgotten. That's dill. More space for some extra stuff down the back here. You'll see I've put a little structure here. That's because I've got some other dahlias, a bulb in the ground there, which was kindly gifted to me by one of the fabulous viewers who watches this channel. Came to the Kindy fundraiser and gave that to me and bought up a whole lot of plants for their community garden, which was extremely generous, and I can't wait to see how that grows. So I've put the structure there mostly to remind me exactly where I put it, and also because I believe they do grow really tall and actually need some support. So eventually I'll need some support in there, and I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget it was there and plant something over the top of it. So if you're in Melbourne or anywhere near Melbourne in a similar climate to us, what can you be planting right now in the month of November? Pretty much all of your summer veggies, anything that requires warmth to grow, they can all go in now. I am lucky enough to have received this amazing parcel behind me from my favourite local nursery, QP Seedlings, based in Werribee. I'm going to show you in a minute. I 100% I've never found seedlings as good as quality as theirs. So I'm going to show you what's here and also take you through some ideas of what to plant now in your gardens. You should have seen the look on my face. I was so excited when I saw these incredibly gorgeous seedlings. It actually looks like a work of art. Okay, so what can you be planting right now? Well, obviously it's tomato time. So tomatoes, great time to get your tomato seedlings in the ground. We've got cucumbers here, mini fingers and long cucumbers. So great time to be planting cucumbers. You can be getting spring onions into the ground. This is so interesting, right? Broccoli is typically a winter vegetable, and I always believed that you could not grow broccoli in the summer. I just didn't think it worked until I did a tour last year of a broccoli farm, and the broccoli farmers told me they grow it all year round. You've just got to keep the white cabbage butterfly off because they destroy it. So there you go. If you're near here and you haven't tried growing broccoli in the summer, give it a go. Other stuff we've got here, chicory, eggplant, great time to be getting your eggplants into the garden. Lots of beautiful lettuces, lettuces all year round. Cos, red cos, green coral lettuce, red coral lettuce. Yum, look at all these. I'm so excited by these. Fennel, as I've already shown you. Kale. An important thing to factor in with kale, if you're wanting to grow it over the warmer months, it's a brassica, so the cabbage white butterfly absolutely loves it. It'll lay eggs all over it that'll turn into caterpillars that'll eat it alive. So really important to put thorough netting over your kale and broccoli if you want to give it a go. I can see in here coriander. You do have to make sure it doesn't get too hot, because if it gets too hot, the Coriander might not do so well. Capsicum, great time to plant capsicum. Leeks tend to grow all year round. Really excited by these snack capsicums. I'd actually been trying to find those seeds and I hadn't found any yet, so I'm really, really keen to get those in. The kids love those. Obviously all your herbs, thyme, great time for basil. Tarragon is one I haven't grown before, which I'm really excited about. Chives too, they look absolutely beautiful. And Brussels sprouts. I would have thought Brussels sprouts might be a winter veg. I'm going to be reading up about those. Now you probably remember when I planted seeds into my Gather heirloom planters. Let me show you how they're going. So these capsicums here are doing really well. I haven't had to fill that one up at all. That's still just water and nutrient solution in there. So compare that to my other capsicums. My other capsicums are looking great. Seeds sown at about the same time. Really happy with how they're going. But size-wise, they just don't really compare. Another little size comparison over here. So those mini cucumbers, I'm quite pleased with how they're doing. I have had to take a few of the leaves off. Look how big this one though is in comparison. So this is just one of the small heirloom planters from Gatherer, and look how big. I had it inside initially and I have had to take it outside because the flowers weren't getting pollinated and I really just didn't have the time to hand pollinate. You can see lots of little cucumbers growing on the ends there. However, the ones that didn't get pollinated closer to the top here, they just died off. And here comes a bee. I've got heaps more work to do in the garden over the next few days. I'm going to be planting out heaps of those things. I'm going to be clearing out my veggie pod. I'm going to be clearing out an entire bed up the back there and starting to harvest a bunch of stuff. So while I commit to one video a month, this is a great month, so I'm going to do another update in a week or two. Go and check out my playlist of garden tours so you can check out some other amazing gardens around Victoria.